Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today we are in the city of Nuoro, the center of Sardinia, one of 4 provinces in Sardinia. Today we are talking about black case, and I would like to introduce you to what happened to 2 young guys that were just hanging out and playing some games in an abandoned, ruined house. So these 2 children, they introduced it in someone else's house, and unfortunately it happened that exactly in the day of Easter of this year 2024, this house was distracted, and these people, these 2 guys, they were interpolated and they died into this house. I cannot comment, I cannot even imagine what happened to the families of these 2 young kids. But the point is different. 14 owners, co-owners of this abandoned, ruined house are now convinced of the killing of 2 young persons. So this thematic, for me at least as a lawyer, is very, very interesting in a point of view of responsibility. So today's video is to inform you, introduce you to the fact that you in Italy and in the most evolved country in the world are always responsible for the custody of everything: mobile, real estate, bicycle, horse, animal, etc. And you have to take care about the stuff you own. So if you have a house and this house is not practicable, is ruined, is not stable, you and not others, you have to take care about the fact that nobody can enter into this house. Today, the problem for these 14 co-owners that they might be convinced of 7 years of prison for the, of course, non-voluntary killing of 2 persons. And the point is that it's very peculiar aspect that every time a convincement is over than 3 years, you can pretend for a home arrest. So this person, they might pass some years in prison, and that's terrible because contrary to their will, somebody introduced it illegally, technically speaking, in their home that was abandoned, and then something drastic happened. What do you think about this? Is this correct? Is this incorrect? So the case is under process right now, so it's not 100% obvious that they will be convinced of the crime of killing a young person, etc. But this is a very interesting, I think, point for all of us watching this video to think about how the things can happen. So please remember that if you are owner of any property in Italy, mobile or real estate or stable, you have to take care of the custody of this object. This is absolutely mandatory. And every time you have to think, can a tree from my property fall on somebody? You have to take care about this. A typical example that make of our law faculties is a piece of the roof that maybe can fall on somebody's head and damage him or her. So it's very interesting, this point of view, at least for me as a lawyer. Again, one more time, think about all the people you invite in your home. So if you are inviting somebody in your swimming pool, so you arrived at your retirement age. You finally achieved the life dream. You purchased a beautiful villa in Italy. Absolutely welcome. And finally, you invite all your friends to join your swimming pool in Italy, in Sardinia. Amazing. Think just for a second. What can happen if somebody dies because he was unaware, because he was drunk, because this, because that, in your swimming pool? You might be considered responsible for this. This is why some of lawyers, of more, let's say, technical people, they used to do something that might look crazy, but every time they invite a friend in their home, they ask him to sign before a sort of liberatory, a sort of discharge of responsibility. So probably it might be a good idea to go to a lawyer to buy one simple form that you're gonna just make every your friend going, enjoying your swimming pool to sign before enter your house. Is this too much? Is this unconfidential? Maybe your friends will look at you in a strange way and they perfectly understand this, but this is technically understandable. Imagine how many of my clients, they purchased a beautiful olives, a beautiful trees, a beautiful piece of maybe a mountain or collina or something like this. They might willing to invite these friends to join a sort of a path going through some rocks, etc. Imagine how many times a kind of a little, even more big, even smaller accident can happen. Well, that's a tragedy, of course, but that's a tragedy for you as the owner of the property, as a responsibility you might keep and hold for what happened. So remember from this tragic case that you are responsible for every property, every piece of your property in Italy. Is it an animal? Is it a mobile object? Is it a real estate? Is it a roof? Is it a tree? So be very, very careful in the keeping the maintenance of this object in order that they are correct, they are not dangerous for people that even might pass through. Recently this day when I was on my holiday in Sardinia, I noticed that like some properties they have, for example, cactuses, you know, like Ficus that have these spines going out. So if there is something on the edge with the spines and I pass by and touch it, that's the responsibility of the owner of this garden, of this beautiful garden. So you have to be very, very aware of your property in Italy, and even in a tragic case that it happened, it might be your responsibility. So now these 14 co-owners of this property, when accidentally, drastically, 2 kids died in their property, they might be convinced that up to 7 years for prison each of them for this case that happened. I would like to ask you to leave a comment. What do you think about this? Is this correct? Is this incorrect? If somebody introduced it illegally in your property, is it correct that you keep the responsibility for what happened in your property? Is it that true that you have to take care about that nobody can enter into your house? Of course, the process will go on if it will be demonstrated that the owners, they sort of limited the access to the house, and these kids, they some way like climb and over a fence in a way that is not preventable, in a way that it's not before understandable. Well, of course, they might be considered as free and not guilty. But again, the case, apart from the tragic side, is very interesting, at least for me as a lawyer, as a juridical aspect of responsibility. So please remember, every time you invite somebody, you might have and keep the responsibility for what happened in your property. If you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe to my channel for new videos. Thank you for your view. Bye.